I know how to count. I'm owed billions of dollars, which I'm getting ready to collect very shortly here. And I'm going to be in the news. They pay up or they go to jail. That's where they're at right now. Everybody's been playing their game except for me. I'm a gifted seer like Nostradamus, Leonardo da Vinci, and Edgar Casey. You know, but a master writer, prolific writer like H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, and Alexander Dumas. So I have both gifts to write, something that's futuristic. And I was always 50 steps ahead of them. No one has ever done to them what I did to them. I went and took my work back. I really didn't care if the Department of Justice prosecuted them or not, or if the Department of Justice went in there and got my property for me. Anybody can come and claim their own property. As I told you before, the VIN number traces it back to the title and who the owner is. So your copyright, you got a copyright, automatically knows who owns what. So you really don't have to play their game. That going to court and playing that game with them is not going to get you your property back. They're $1 billion companies. They will play the game. They will buy out judges. Now will buy out lawyers. Keep you tied up for years and turn around and give you pittance for your own work. Fight you with your own money that they've stolen and earned from your work. And then turn around and give you a little drop of it. And some people got nothing because they didn't even have the energy or the time or the knowledge or any lawyers that would come in and help us fight them. In fact, they bought off my lawyers. My 4 lawyers are the ones who shut down my case. Not Warner Brothers, not the Wachowskis, not James Cameron. None of them won the case in 2003. They shut the case down to keep from going to jail. My lawyers were paid off, sabotage that case, keep them out of jail. Is what you need to know. I was going to tell you, the judge told them, if the protective expression, the sense of similarities, the copyrights are present, I cannot shut this case down. I cannot dismiss this case. So they misrepresented the facts to the judge, lied to Judge Morrow, and told her it was copying as opposed to criminal. The first judge, they got him off the case because he knew it was criminal, and they knew he was going to send him to jail. And they knew they were going to go to jail because of the RICO law. They perjured themselves. I got their perjured statements, which I'm sure they're paid to get back because it's a felony. They perjured themselves and said they never saw my book at all, never used it. And then, look, guess what? In the movies, Terminator, Matrix, and Anti-Matrix, which is sold around the world, and everybody's home, is my work. When you buy the book, read the book, there's the work. The book and the movies match. The characters are there. The graphics are there. The special effects. I created that. It's all in the book. You can't get away from it. It's undisputed. Totally undisputed. They hid it in plain sight. They hid the theft in the movies, thinking that no one would be the wiser, never realizing in the future about the internet that I would be selling the book and that I would go in and take the trademarks and the copyrights from them. They never foresaw that. I was 50 steps ahead of them. The oracle that you see in the movie is based on my real life, The Gifted Seer. The oracle beat them in the movie, and the oracle beat them in real life. That has never been done ever before to multi-billion-dollar corporations and people in the industry.
So in your book, in The Third Eye, is there some drama that sort of goes back to sort of foreseeing that this is going to occur, this theft and all of that went with it? Is there anything like that in the book?
It's very futuristic. 30 years ago, I'm talking about the drones and computerized warfare, which is going on right now. And scanners. Nobody ever heard of scanners and barcodes and virtual reality. The bodies are on the ship, and they're fighting with their kind, their image, their shadow body. All of this comes from me because I was playing the computerized game. And the fighting, the kung fu, that stuff comes from me, not the Wachowskis. I was watching Bruce Lee in the late 70s in movies, Japanese movies, just like Hidden Tiger. One of my girlfriends, Jeanette, and I used to sneak up as kids to Times Square to watch these movies. She's half Japanese and half black.
Watermelon sushi.
Yeah, we used to watch these movies. And I was the one playing the computer games in the future. And, I mean, in the past, like in the early 80s. And it's in the book. It even shows you the games I was playing. I was born in the digital age, naked without shame, a naked cyborg, which has never been shown on any movie, whether it's the 50s, the 40s, wherever. No naked cyborg in clothes and flesh, which a microchip the size of a pinhead with organs that will never wither or wear out. They'll take a licking, but they'll keep right on ticking. Born with a human brain and the appearance of a human, but yet is a machine because of the chip. All of that comes from me. That's why the Wachowski brothers never do any interviews, and I'm the only one who gets to speak about it. And why James Cameron has distanced himself from the Terminator. He distanced himself from the Terminator after Terminator 2 because he knew that every act he did it would be a felony and would put him closer to jail. So, yes, when people perjure themselves and it becomes an element, lying, becomes an element of a conspiracy, steal the copyrights from the true owner, those are all predicated acts under RICO that will put you in jail. And it doesn't matter when you perjured yourself in what federal court. You still will go to jail because of it. And I have the Wachowskis' perjury statements, James Cameron, Gail Ann Hurd, Bruce Isaac, John Schuleman, Teresa Wright, Mark Meyerson, the other Mark Rose, the expert witness who lied, and I intend to send them to jail. They do not pay for what they've done. They are going to jail. I'm sorry, but the copyright laws are there to protect the people as well as to protect the movie industry. If they can put somebody in jail, teenagers, for downloading, they can put people in jail for bootlegging or protecting a corporation, well, I'm going to make sure they protect the people. My case, what I stand for, is that first-grade case and breakthrough in Hollywood to set everything right, to set the wrong right. God was behind me because I had no billions of dollars. I had no tons of millions of lawyers. In fact, lawyers dropped off of my case often because I'm in 3 courts. The bankruptcy court in California for $370 million for Terminator 4. The federal court that I told you they shut down with the judge has to overturn that case because she can't shut a case down with fraud. Fraud eats up a federal court. She has to overturn it. And she will, because I got the trademarks in the copyright, and she don't got no choice. She'll either overturn it or go to jail with them. Third case, over in Utah, where I got the 4 lawyers who shut down the case and did civil rights violations on me. There's the magistrate judge on that case. She is thinking about putting a grand jury on them because they need to go to jail. They did civil rights violations, my own lawyers, which is a federal offense, which carries jail time. And I'm pushing for them to go to jail. I want examples. Just like National Treasury, somebody's got to go to jail. I don't care who pays to get off, but they're going to have to throw somebody to the door. Somebody got to go down. It could be the Wachowskis, it could be James Cameron. If they want him to be their savior and he's nothing but a thief, then so be it. Let them have whatever they want. But somebody is going to go to jail to show the industry, Hollywood, that Hollywood is not above the law. They need to realize that. And Martha Stewart can go to jail, and Bernie Madoff, and Little Kim, and a host of others. And somebody in Hollywood has to also pay. And this is the message that I am giving the Department of Justice. You're going to come in and rectify this. There are people who have gone all the way up to the Supreme Court and lost when all they had to do was take possession of the copyrights in the trademarks. Because if you go and you go look at your work and go pull up the trademarks are commerce. You will see they never applied for the trademarks. You know why? Because if you don't have a copyright, you will go to jail applying for the trademarks, including the lawyers who applied for the clients. He clearly states that if you don't swear under oath, under their code, and you lie on that application, it automatically invalidates that application. And if you get a registration that you don't deserve, that is automatically invalidated, and you will go to jail and pay a fine, or go to jail and pay the fine. And I guarantee you, if Winfrey, if you would go and look up the trademark, I guarantee you can get the trademarks to your work and take possession of the copyright. And I can show anybody it's law that nobody is going to tell you about, because then you will come and can do something about it. Trying to go to court and fight for your car, which when you check up the VIN number, traces it back to your title, is crazy. It's ludicrous. Even when the FBI have counterfeited money, they don't take you to court to get back the counterfeit money. They just go out and take possessions of the counterfeits. You counterfeit a $100 bill, serial numbers on there. They go out and they confiscate all of those bills, and what they do is they turn around and use the bills to prosecute you and make you pay, but they don't need a judge to award them the counterfeit money. That's common sense. Not try to get a trademark, because that's commerce. That is that's the licensing rights. Just like I said with the formula. Bootlegging, no copyrights. Selling, no license, no trademark equals to jail time. Everybody would learn that formula. You can go into the trademark office and online, internet, punch in, and you'll see that they have never applied for the trademarks. The reason why, when you go to apply for a trademark, you don't have any copyrights. They're not going to give you that trademark. And if you try to lie, they go back on the paper trail to trace it to its source. This is why the Wachowski and James Cameron never applied for Matrix 1 and Terminator 1. When you go in there for 11 years, since 1999, Warner Brothers tried to get the trademark for Reloading and Revolution. Now, if you own Matrix 1, which is the most successful Matrix, it made $1 billion, won 4 Oscars, brought in DVD, changed the whole industry, put in, now the businessmen in Hollywood, the industry went out from making billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, to billions of dollars, changed the whole industry, gaming, brought in video games and gaming like any, merchandising and attractions. Be for real. Who wouldn't want to apply for the first Matrix? They went in, which I have evidence and paperwork, which I can show you. They applied for 11 years for Reloaded and Revolution and wanted to amend the characters from 1. They tried to give it to their parent company, Time Warner, and the government said no. You have no copyright. Time Warner has no copyrights to the Matrix. And they tried to assign it to Warner Brothers, and the government said no. You have no copyrights. You can't assign something you don't have any copyrights. And they didn't want to put in the Wachowski's name because the government would have pulled up the napkin, and they would have went to jail, and all this would have came out in the news, and Warner Brothers stockholders would have had a fit. Found out the truth that they didn't own the Matrix copyrights nor the trademark. And this is what they've been hiding from the media for 11 years. 2011. For 11 years, they hid this from the media. Because if the stockholders find out, it'll be Enron. All those executives, which are, by the way, vice president, senior vice president, are attorneys at Warner Brothers. And some of the other executives, they stole from the shareholders. And so did Fox. Fox never got the studio's shareholders, never got the Terminator or Terminator trademark, because when I applied over at Fox and took my 6-page treatment looking for George Lucas, the executives over there stole Terminator, which is industrial espionage, stealing trade secrets and stealing something from Fox, because Fox was going to buy it from me, and Fox's own executives stole it from the shareholders. That's why Terminator is not owned by any studio. And then what happened was they didn't even have any copyright. They kept selling it, passing it on to Mario Casares. Gail Ann Hurd created a dummy company, Pacific Western, got some lawyers to draw up the articles of incorporation. They were in violations of going to jail, those lawyers. Miller and some other ones. And they kept selling it, passing it on to Victor and Derek, the Terminator. Victor and Derek got money from Pacific Corp and then couldn't carry on. They tried to change the concept. They thought that just carrying the name Terminator and Matrix, that was going to get them over because everybody was crazy about the work. Then when they found out that was the people wanted the original concept. They didn't want them trying to make it their own. They had garbage. So it ended up in bankruptcy, Terminator 4. Typical, they all filed bankruptcy, and creditors wanted their money. The government, the Judge Robles told him that they could sell Terminator 4 for $30 million, but you can't sell something that doesn't belong to you. That I advised the judge. How did I advise the judge? I put the judge on notice. I gave him the code, 18 U.S.C. 4, 18 U.S.C. 3. 18 U.S.C. 4 is telling the judge that a criminal act has occurred in his court, and that he should report it. And 18 U.S.C. 3 is telling the judge and everybody that if you give comfort or aid to someone who has committed a crime, then you're aiding and abetting in the enterprise. It doesn't matter if you have knowledge of the theft or not. Before you can sell anything to somebody, you need to trace it back and find the VIN number. You need to find out who it belongs to. And every good judge does that. How do I know this? When Lawrence Wachowski was getting a divorce from Thea Bloom in the state court, the judge wanted to award Thea Bloom half of the property, California law. The judge asked Andy and Larry Wachowski to divide up the Matrix money. Give him proof that they wrote the Matrix so he can divide that property up. Well, Lawrence and Andy Wachowski lied on the declarations, and I got the declarations to show anybody anytime. They lied and said they created the Matrix in 1993. Then they turned around and said that was a lie. The second declaration, they told the judge they had lied on the first declaration. That they actually created it before 93, but they had to go to Chicago to find proof. Now, they neglected to tell the judge they had a 94 copyright with a napkin, which would have showed the judge that they never created the Matrix. Anthea Bloom said in her declarations that Andy and Larry Wachowski never wrote the Matrix. I have those documents in my possession. So now you ask yourself, the government is aiding and abetting under 18 U.S.C. 3. The government failed to report the crime to the Department of Justice under 18 U.S.C. 4. Judges, lawyers, people are all in league of going to jail here. Federally protected copyrights is a serious offense. And if you think I'm joking, people can buy the book, The Third Eye, on my website, Truth About Matrix, and there is the FBI document saying it is a theft. It's an E-295. There are the FBI documents validating the theft, criminal copyright infringement.
Sophia.
Yes.
My question, and I know, and this is ultra intriguing to say the least, the question that a lot of people are probably asking themselves at this point, and I think that we can clarify this in this particular interview out of the multitudes of interviews that you've conducted. How exactly did the Wachowski brothers approach you in which to pay you off? Did their attorneys call you and say, we're going to send you this document, and if you sign it, then you're entitled to X amount of money? How exactly did that transpire?
That's even in the book. That's going to blow your mind. That's even in the book.
Wow.
When I was Warner Brothers on April 1st, 1999, I had several calls and several letters, and all this stuff is documented in the book.
Damn.
They put an in-house attorney on me named Judy Newlack. Judy Newlack told me she and others had witnessed the Wachowskis using my copyrighted work on the movie set, and that's when they made everybody sign a non-disclosure. And she told me not. She was an honest lawyer. She told me not to settle with them. They owed me billions of dollars. At that time, they owed me $1 billion because the FBI had already told me off the record how to compensate that money and the royalties. So that is why it's all in the book. They try to get this witness, they try to get her testament stricken. And they even said in the book, in the court docs in the book, they told the judge they stole the Terminator from me. This is going to blow your mind. They told the federal judge that they stole the Terminator from me, and that I sat on my right, and that the statutes of limitations, they try to use the statutes of limitations to steal the work. Can you believe that? The judge told them, she cautions them, to admit to theft is a willful intent. You could go to jail for that, she's telling them.
That's astounding.
And she told them that, well, according to the statutes of limitations, for a person to sit on their right, the victim has to discover the theft. The time or the clock starts ticking the moment the victim discovers the theft, not when you commit the act. They committed the act in 84, but I didn't discover the theft until 2001 from the FBI. And I had them in the court by 2003 to get my money, not to see that if I wrote it. It was all about me collecting that $1 billion that was owed me. And I was going to try to put them in jail. That's why the RICO was all about. Because the government had already substantiated the theft, gave me the documents, and it was selling in the book. So I brought the RICO law against them. These laws is racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations. These are the very laws that they created to put the mob and mafia in jail. White-collar criminal acts. White-collar crime. Bernie Madoff. Martha Stewart. These are the Enron executives. These laws, the RICO laws, are what are created to get these type of criminals. When you start stealing in the hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, you are violating the people. You're not paying your taxes. You're bootlegging. The very industry that have put all these people in jail for bootlegging movies, downloading, are the very people that need to go to jail for what they have done to the American people who try to sell their product to Hollywood so they can be known, they can work in the industry, win awards, and create money and legacies for their family. It is the biggest shame, the biggest crime in all of America. And it is a case where the government, which is the people, should protect the people because they have enslaved and put the people in jail through these big corporations countless of times. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. I have said this message countless of times on many interviews. I've done over 4,000 interviews, non-stop. I've been interviewing since 2002, never needed any publicist. And I not only am in rap magazines, sports magazines, front-page newspapers, radio stations, countless through the whole country. And why is this such a big deal? My case? Because my case is worth $25 billion. That is what they stole from the people. And they need to be taxed. And now the government has decided to come down on copyright theft. Senator Leary is getting ready to do the bond. They're getting ready to collect. So this is a good time for everybody who's ever been stolen from is to come forward and file a class lawsuit against the government for not protecting their copyrights. We pay for that protection. We pay taxes for that protection. They go out and your kids and your uncles and your cousins and your friends and whoever, probably by accident even, and bootleg, whatever, to feed their family, have been put in jails because of these laws. Yet, white-collar crime, they get to pay people off, steal their money, pay them off a little bit of money, and continue to theft. And nobody knows because they're gagged, and they own the media. So they're not going to report and tell on themselves. I keep telling people when they say, why haven't I heard about this? So when you see People magazine, you're supposed to believe it. You need to believe your own self. You need to seek the truth for yourself. You got the greatest tool in the world, the internet. Everything in the world is going to go to the internet. All newspapers, magazine, radio, everything is going to the internet. That is progress. That is the future. And it doesn't cost you anything to pull up trademarks and copyrights and check out things for yourself. You don't need lawyers and judges anymore. You don't need to pay billions and billions or hundreds of millions of dollars. You got the internet. Use it. You can find out the truth. You don't need television to validate you. Television is going to go to the internet. Everything is. And if it doesn't go to the internet, then it won't be functioning here on Earth anymore, as you know it.
Okay. So, will the documentary, the Oracle movie, reveal the whole truth about what happened to you?
Yeah, the Oracle movie is going to be phenomenal. It is going to reveal the truth. It is going to show America heroism and its finding because the American people need heroes. They need people like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Nelson Mandela, and others. The late Diana, Princess Diana, everybody who's paid a price to open up doors for others to come through. Yeah, the Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time. We all need heroes.
You are referred to as the Oracle. Can you tell us what that means to you?
Yes, the Oracle, like I say, I'm a gifted seer, but the Oracle is deeper. Because I wrote the second coming of Christ, the evolution of consciousness, man versus the machine. In other words, when V1, Christ comes back, he will find technology or the machines have enslaved man. And his walk, or the path of Neo, or Neo is a sneaky anagram, backwards, N-E-O-O-N-E-1. That's what it means. Neo is a sneaky way of calling him the one. Takes people through evolution so they can ascend into their 4D body so they can overcome all adversity. And if you look at J.C. John Connor, Jesus Christ equals to Neo, one in the same, and Sarah Connor is Neo's mother. And the Oracle female for the feminine energy of the prophecy. In the Bible, the first story, first coming of Christ, John the Baptist is the prophet heralding the coming of Christ. I thought it would be phenomenal if Christ came back the second coming, which is mentioned in Revelation that he'd be back. I created a perfect story. He came back in the future. He'd be up against the machine. And what better way to herald his second coming than a female prophet? And that is why the Oracle comes from creation, the womb. Matrix is Latin for womb. We come from the female energy, creation. It does not come from the male energy. The male and female energy is what you call polarity, polar, not duality. Dualism, deception, denial all came from this philosopher Descartes, which says there are two things going on when it's not. There's only one. There can only be one, and that's good. And when man reverses that good, that is what evil comes. That's how evil is brought about. It's like switching directions, not changing minds, but switching your direction. Because it's like AC/DC. You're going in a direction forward. That's live, L-I-V-E. But when you flip that and go in the opposite direction, that is what evil is, E-V-I-L. Evil is going in the wrong direction with a lack of knowledge. It's not a bad word, ignorance. You're ignoring certain facts, and it's because you do not know something. The difference between a wealthy person and a poor person is a lack of knowledge. That wealthy person has knowledge. It takes them in the right direction. Lack that knowledge, you're going in the wrong direction, which makes you and continue to make you poor. So if I create a program, continue having you go in that wrong direction, then I will dominate you and control you always. And this is what the Matrix is speaking about. It's telling you the Matrix is all around you, all these numerous programs, downloading and everything. What is keeping you from making the right decision for yourself? And if you start to realize and understand knowledge, it can equip you to make the right decision. Either you're making a decision out of fear, which is inverted faith, or you're making the right decision out of faith, believing and seeing that, you know what I'm saying, going in the right direction, believing, seeing, and hoping for the best. And everyone should do faith and not fear. Fear is nothing but false evidence appearing as real. There's no reason to be fearful. Everyone should seek the truth to themselves. That's the way God wanted it. He didn't want anyone to dictate to anyone. He didn't want anyone to take someone to the water and make them drink the water. If you take a horse to the water and refuse to drink, that's on him. The water is before him. He can either drink it or die. And I think that's what free choice and free will from God is what God was thinking about. Man is the only one that is the dictator or the devil or the evil that tries to force things upon the people. And that is not what God wants. God wants you to come to true yourself. He wants you to seek it. And he wants you to know who he is and all the things that have been being portrayed about him and all the negative images about people of color around the world. They lie. And lies need to be put down. Matrix 4, I'm getting ready to do Matrix 4. Go on my Facebook, put in Sophia Stewart, you'll read about it. That's what's happening for the future, Matrix 4. We're in free development right now, and so we're going to be having parties coming up very soon. So that's what I like to tell the people. Go to my website, truth.matrix.com, buy the book, Third Eye, and read all about the truth. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sophia. Yayoi and I have now met the Oracle. Thank you for being on the show. And by the way, you do have a sexy voice.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I
very
didn't know
welcome.
that. Usually it's so hoarse for me speaking so often, but I thank you very much for that, compliment.
Indeed, and it was meant.
So much, Sophia.
Yes, thank you for being on the show. It was a great honor and pleasure of ours.
I'll say bye-bye to you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Sophia.
Well, that's it, folks, and please join us next time for another Sexy Voices of Hollywood.